Matt Murdock and his friends and legal partners Foggy Nelson and Karen Page celebrate the retirement of their NYPD associate Cherry at Josie's bar. They are attacked by their old enemy Benjamin Dex Poindexter, also known as Bullseye, who shoots and kills Foggy. An enraged Matt, as the masked vigilante Daredevil, drops Dex off a roof. Cherry sees Matt and realizes that he is Daredevil. A year later, Matt has retired as Daredevil and formed a new law firm with former district attorney Kirsten McDuffie. Karen has moved to San Francisco and Dex is given a life sentence for his crimes. Kirsten sets Matt up with therapist Heather Glenn and they begin dating. After taking time away to recover from a vigilante attack, former mob boss Wilson Fisk announces that he is running for mayor of New York City with an anti-vigilante agenda. In a meeting, Matt promises to stop Fisk if he steps out of line, while Fisk says there will be consequences if Matt resumes his vigilante activities. After winning the election, Fisk tells his wife Vanessa that he knows she had an affair with a man named Adam while he was away. Hector Ayala comes across two men, Powell and Shanahan, beating up Nikki Torres in a subway station. Hector attempts to break up the fight and Torres runs away. When Shanahan trips and is killed by a train, Powell reveals that they are police officers and arrests Hector for murder. Matt, using his heightened senses, believes Hector's story and decides to represent him. Cherry, now working as Matt's investigator, learns that Hector is the vigilante White Tiger. Matt convinces the judge in Hector's case to withhold this information, believing it would unfairly bias the jury. To improve optics during his first days as mayor, Fisk meets with young journalist B.B. Urich, who reveals that popular NYPD Commissioner Gallo is poised to resign in protest of Fisk becoming mayor. Fisk threatens to expose Gallo's infidelity to stop him from resigning. Fisk and Vanessa start attending couples therapy with Heather. Matt tracks down Torres and helps him escape from Powell and another corrupt police officer. The corrupt officers have tattoos of a skull, the symbol of the lethal vigilante Frank Castle, also known as Punisher. Fisk and Vanessa avoid their previous criminal activities while Fisk is mayor. Two leaders of New York City's gangs, Luca and Victor, begin to fight among themselves. Fisk believes they should let the gangs kill each other to help build a lasting peace, but Vanessa is frustrated that her work is being undone. She sends Fisk's right-hand man, Buck Cashman, to order Luca to pay $1.8 million restitution to Victor. Cherry brings Torres to testify at Hector's trial, but Torres is intimidated by the police and says he was never assaulted. With no other options, Matt reveals Hector's identity as the White Tiger in court. He is criticized by the judge and district attorney for his hypocrisy. With new witness accounts and police records detailing Hector's heroic deeds as White Tiger, Matt and Kirsten successfully convince the jury to find Hector not guilty. In an interview with BB, Fisk denounces the trial's results and vows to uphold his anti-vigilante stance. Despite Matt's warning that Hector should stop being White Tiger, Hector goes out on patrol and is murdered by a man wearing the Punisher's symbol. Matt is confronted by Hector's niece, Angela Del Toro, who believes the police are responsible for Hector's death. Matt comforts her with hope that the killer will be brought to justice. At marriage counseling, Fisk and Vanessa discuss her affair with Adam, and Heather privately asks Vanessa if she feels safe around Fisk. Fisk's plan to rebuild the city's ports faces several hurdles, including bureaucratic procedures, gang infighting, and his protege Daniel Blake drunkenly leaking details to BB, who reports that Fisk is a union buster. Despite his anger, Fisk decides not to fire Daniel when the latter expresses his deep loyalty. Matt investigates the site of Hector's murder and finds a bullet casing with the Punisher symbol on it. He tracks down Frank Castle and suggests that he should take responsibility for those who are misusing the Punisher symbol. Frank calls out Matt for not killing Dex as retribution for Foggy's death. Later that night, Matt practices with his Daredevil billy clubs. Fisk eats dinner next to an imprisoned Adam, and the masked serial killer Muse drains blood from a victim. On St. Patrick's Day, Matt goes to New York Mutual Bank to discuss a loan for his law firm. His application is denied by assistant bank manager Yusuf Khan due to the firm's habit of taking on clients who could not afford to pay. After Matt leaves, a group of criminals led by Devlin enters the bank and takes everyone hostage. They work for Luca and are attempting to steal the $1.8 million he needs to pay to Victor. Matt hears them and returns to the bank. When the police arrive, Devlin talks with hostage negotiator Detective Angie Kim. Matt takes out two of the robbers while Yusuf stalls for time at the bank vault. Matt opens the vault and they find a rare diamond that the robbers are targeting. Matt pretends to give the diamond to Devlin as the police enter the bank. Devlin gives the parcel to an accomplice among the hostages, who later realizes that she does not have the diamond. Devlin disguises himself as a police officer and leaves, but is caught and injured by Matt. Later, Matt secretly returns the diamond and accepts an offer to have dinner with Yusuf's family. After the failed robbery, Luca visits Fisk and refuses to pay the $1.8 million to Victor. Fisk raises the amount to $2.8 million and gives Luca a week to pay it. He then learns from the city's sanitation department that Muse is using human blood in his street art. Muse later leaves the bodies of two victims next to a new mural as public confirmation of his actions. Fisk learns of this during a fundraiser with the city's elites, including socialite Jack Duquesne, who are against his port rebuild plans. To deal with Muse, Fisk establishes an anti-vigilante task force, also known as AVTF, with additional powers, and recruits disgraced police officers such as Powell and former detective Cole North. Angela believes Hector was investigating Muse before his death and asks Matt to continue his work. When Matt refuses, she goes herself and is abducted by Muse. Alerted to her disappearance, Matt finally decides to suit up as Daredevil. He finds Muse's lair, fights Muse, and rescues Angela. Meanwhile, Fisk gives Adam an axe and challenges him to a fight, in which Fisk beats him and drags him back to his cell. A recuperating Angela tells the police that Daredevil saved her, and she directs them to Muse's lair. Detective Kim reports to Fisk, who is angry that Daredevil has returned, that the primary suspect for Muse is a troubled young man named Bastian Cooper. Luca asks Vanessa to return to her criminal activities behind Fisk's back. In a session with Heather, Bastian thanks her for helping him to embrace his true identity. She realizes he is Muse, and Bastian knocks her unconscious. Matt and the AVTF separately find paintings of Heather in Muse's lair and go to save her. As Daredevil, Matt arrives at Heather's office first and rescues her. As the AVTF prepares to enter, Heather fatally shoots Muse before fainting. Matt stabilizes her before the AVTF arrives. Fisk gives credit for stopping Muse to the AVTF and publicly declares them to be heroes. Daniel threatens BB into removing eyewitness mentions of Daredevil's involvement in the incident from her blog. A recovering Heather tells Matt that she heard Daredevil say her name. Vanessa seemingly sends Luca to kill Fisk, but this is a trap and Cashman kills Luca. Dex is moved from solitary confinement to Gen Pop on Fisk's orders. Fisk also reveals his imprisonment of Adam to Vanessa and watches as she kills him. Fisk then promotes Daniel to Deputy Mayor of Communications and invites Heather to his Black and White Ball fundraiser. Matt realizes that Fisk is Heather's patient, further straining their relationship as he contests her anti-vigilante views. At Josie's bar, Matt learns that Foggy was celebrating an impending court win the night he died. Believing Fisk hired Dex to silence Foggy, Matt interrogates Dex and injures him. Dex later kills his doctor and a guard before escaping prison. At the ball, Fisk blackmails Duquesne, who is the sword-wielding vigilante swordsman, and other socialites into supporting his port project. BB, who is aware of Fisk's involvement in her uncle Ben Urich's murder, asks Gallo to help bring down Fisk and the AVTF. Matt deduces that Vanessa hired Dex to kill Foggy and confronts her. As Fisk starts to tell Heather that Matt is Daredevil, Dex arrives and shoots at Fisk. Matt jumps in front of the bullet and is critically wounded. A year earlier, Vanessa visits Dex and asks him to kill Foggy in exchange for his freedom. In the present, Dex escapes the ball while Matt is hospitalized. Fisk reveals to Vanessa that he knows she orchestrated Foggy's death. Fisk orders Buck to kill Matt and cuts off the power to New York City. Buck attempts to kill Matt at the hospital, but Matt escapes to his apartment where he finds Frank Castle waiting for him. The AVTF arrives at the apartment, where Matt and Frank incapacitate and kill all except Cole North. Matt and Frank learn that North killed Hector, but Matt resists killing him. Fleeing the apartment, the pair are met by Karen, who returned after learning Dex escaped and asked Frank to protect Matt. Chaos breaks out in the city, perpetuated by the AVTF. Matt and Karen reconnect while they track down Foggy's Red Hook case, discovering that the Fisks are trying to establish a city-state. Frank fights the AVTF in Red Hook, but is defeated. Powell tries to get him to join them, but Frank rejects him. Gallo attempts to betray Fisk, but is exposed and murdered by Fisk. Fisk offers Heather the position of mental health commissioner, which she accepts. In a speech, Fisk declares martial law and outlaws vigilantes. Matt decides to assemble an army to save the city. Fisk imprisons his enemies in Red Hook, including Jack and Frank. In a mid-credit scene, Frank tricks a prison guard and begins to break free.